Hello fellow TV and film fanatics, welcome to the Binge List. My name's Greg and I make recommendations for TV shows and for movies that you can access from the comfort of your own home. And Netflix is bringing a horde of content in May of 2024 to the streaming service. And it's going to be hard to prioritize what's actually worth your time. So again, I did try to narrow it down to some that stood out to me. This month has some action, some comedy, some heartfelt stories and thrillers. So hopefully there's something for everybody on this list. And on top of that, they have some new awesome original titles that look really interesting and a few of my personal favorites here. So this is how this works, because I can't talk about every single one of these or the video would be 3 hours long, but I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth about those ones that did stand out to me. And later in the video, I'm going to show you an entire list of everything that's coming to the service. So stop mindlessly scrolling, stop wasting your time. Let's jump in and check it out. First on our list is the film Blended from back in 2014, where we see single parents Jim, played by Adam Sandler, and Lauren, played by Drew Barrymore, on this disastrous blind date. And through a series of coincidences, they end up on the same resort during a family vacation. Things only escalate and intensify when they discover that they're booked in the same family suite with their kids, forced to cohabitate for this week. The sparks start to fly amidst the chaos of blended family life. And I really enjoy this movie. I think it makes me laugh every time I watch it. The comedy duo of Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore offer laughs and familiar comedic chemistry. They play off of each other very well, which leads to some hilarious bickering and some laugh out loud moments. The film itself offers you lighthearted and heartwarming fun with tons of slapstick humor and some ridiculous situations while finding love in these unexpected places. And this is a family movie, so a vast majority of the humor revolves around the challenges and the hilarity of the family unit, with a backdrop of this luxurious South African resort. Blended is a lighthearted comedy that offers a predictable yet fun journey, led by Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, and an overall cast that has great chemistry that makes it a fun watch.
My name is Jim.
I'm Lauren.
Got you buffalo shrimp with sauce on the side. Oh.
Next pick here is actually a show that I've mentioned numerous times in some other reviews. It's the first show that I saw Alan Ritchson as the notorious Thad, and this is Blue Mountain State. This series follows numerous characters throughout its outrageous exploits. It's a group of football players and college students who are navigating this hyper-masculine, party-fueled world of college football at the fictional Blue Mountain State University. The plot in this series is, well, adequate, but what makes it great is the hilarious absurdity. If you enjoy a show that is committed to over-the-top humor and ridiculous situations, this is a perfect option for you. It is not for everyone because the humor can be definitely a little crude or gross at times, but as always, to each their own. One of my personal favorites in this show is the memorable characters. Every single character is taken to these exaggerated or hyperbolized levels, but characters like the witty Alex, played by Darren Brooks, the arrogant Thad, like I mentioned, by Alan Ritchson, and then the foul-mouthed Coach Kilmer by Ed O'Neill, they leave these lasting impressions, along with tons of others throughout the series. This is a show with a devoted cult following, and a movie that actually followed it up, Blue Mountain State: The Rise of Thadland, that continues the story for these characters after college. That is actually coming to Netflix on the same day. Blue Mountain State and the films are comedies that lean into the outrageous and absurdity, which is perfect turn your brain off and laugh options to check out.
Stop moving your stupid mouth and get out! And you!
On to number 3 here on our list with the film Dark Waters starring Mark Ruffalo. This is a legal thriller that follows Rob, who is a corporate defense attorney who stumbles upon a dark secret. Rob uncovers a history of environmental pollution linked to a range of illnesses plaguing a small West Virginia community. Driven by a sense of justice, he takes on this Goliath corporation, risking his career, his family, and even his health to expose the truth and fight for the victims. This is a film based on a pretty compelling true story about this environmental lawsuit against a powerful corporation. But honestly, what makes the film is the acting. You have a ton of quality performances from Anne Hathaway, Tim Robbins, Bill Pullman, Victor Garber, Bill Camp, and a host of others, with Mark Ruffalo leading the way with his portrayal of this determined and conflicted man, anchoring the film with his powerful performance. It does have a pretty suspenseful plot, but it is the slow burning kind. As the investigation and legal battle ensues, they start unveiling key details as the case unfolds, keeping you highly engaged. Dark Waters is a David versus Goliath story that sheds light on this true story of environmental injustice with solid performances and a suspenseful narrative worth checking out.
What in the hell's going on?
DuPont is knowingly poisoning 70,000 local residents for the last 40 years.
There are a few of my personal favorites on this list, and my next pick, Jumanji from back in 1995, is one of those favorites. This is a whimsical adventure film where young Alan Parrish discovers an old board game called Jumanji. When he starts playing, the game unleashes chaotic jungle creatures and perilous situations into their reality. Years later, two siblings, Judy and Peter, find the abandoned Jumanji and unwittingly resume the game, releasing Alan in a whole new set of jungle mayhem. Together they must finish the game and return everything and everyone to normal. I will say, for its time, the film's visual effects for the jungle creatures and these game elements were actually really impressive and added to the fantastical experience with this one. This is very similar to our last film in the sense that the main character really makes the movie, as Robin Williams' performance is incredible. His comedic timing and ability to embody the character trapped in the game for decades is truly a highlight. Many of his funniest moments in the films were actually improvised on set, which I didn't know until researching this, but showcases his true comedic talent, and he works so well with the young actors portraying the other players. Jumanji, it's a fun and nostalgic adventure film that blends humor, fantasy, these coming of age themes with the overall charm that continues to entertain audiences. Worth a watch for sure.
You wanna play? Alan, look. In the jungle, you must wait until the dice read 5 or 8.
My next pick is another hilarious classic option here, and I had to include this because my buddies George and JJ quote it to me nonstop, and they would probably disown me if I didn't include it, and this is Jim Carrey's Liar Liar. This is a hilarious family comedy where we meet Fletcher Reed. He is this fast-talking, successful lawyer who thrives on deception. However, everything changes on his son Max's birthday, when Max makes a desperate wish that his dad wouldn't be able to tell a lie for an entire day. Miraculously, this wish comes true, throwing Fletcher's life into this comedic chaos. Unable to lie, he faces disastrous consequences in court, with clients, and even with his ex-wife. As the day unfolds, Fletcher scrambles to maintain his facade while rediscovering the importance of honesty and mending his relationships. Classic Jim Carrey is amazing, and his energetic and over-the-top comedic acting is truly a highlight in this one. He's pretty perfect for this role. He perfectly capturing the lawyer's descent into this truth-telling insanity that leads to these truly over-the-top hilarious situations. Again, another family-friendly film that offers physical comedy, witty jokes, and certainly entertains both adults and children. And despite the wackiness, the film ultimately delivers a heartwarming message about honesty and the importance of family. Liar Liar is a comedic romp that capitalizes on Jim Carrey's energetic performance, making it an awesome classic option to check out or to rewatch.
Mr. Reed, it is out of sheer morbid curiosity I'm allowing this freak show to continue.
Another great option on the first is one that I've talked about before, and this is 2021's Mortal Kombat movie. In this one, we meet mixed martial arts fighter Cole Young, who discovers his connection to a prestigious fighting tournament called Mortal Kombat. The interdimensional tournament determines the fate of Earthrealm. Constantly threatened by the evil forces of Outworld, Cole ends up joining a team of experienced champions to train and prepare for the ultimate battle against these iconic Mortal Kombat characters. The story for this one is serviceable, but surely it's not what you're going into this film looking for. You are going into it for the action. The fight choreography and the action sequences in this one are intense, they're brutal, staying very true to the video game spirit. The cast does a great job with what they're given and making the action feel extremely real. You have Louis Tan, Joe Taslim, McCabe Brooks, Hiroyuki Sanada, Tadanobu Asano, so many amazing actors, and they're committed to their roles and bringing these iconic characters to life. My personal favorite though is actually Josh Lawson as Kano in this one. He delivers such a charismatic and entertaining performance, allotting for most of the humor in this film. Mortal Kombat's a great option, it's visually striking, it has tons of action-packed moments, it's a reboot that delivers familiar characters, locations, and devastating finishing moves. Definitely worth checking out.
When we got there, it tore through our unit in seconds. The target had superhuman abilities.
It would seem with the popularity of the Amazon Prime series Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Netflix is trying to take advantage of it and bring the 2005 film Mr. and Mrs. Smith to their streaming service here in May. Even though they are drastically different, but in this film we meet John and Jane Smith, who are a seemingly ordinary married couple living a routine suburban life. However, beneath the surface lurks a shocking secret. They are both skilled assassins working for competing organizations. Their world is turned upside down when they are assigned to kill each other. As they engage in a series of hilarious and action-packed confrontations, the spark between them reignites amidst the chaos. Now they must fight for their lives and decide where their loyalties truly lie. Obviously, having two iconic leads in this film helps with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Their sizzling on-screen chemistry is certainly noticeable between the real-life couple at this time. The film blends these creative action sequences with witty dialogue and comedic situations, creating an overall entertaining experience. Plus some really stylish visuals too, with some sleek cinematography that brings you right into all of these action scenes. Mr. and Mrs. Smith is an action comedy that capitalizes on star power with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. It's fun action sequences, hilarious comedic moments, and undeniable chemistry. 100% worth checking out.
Hey, John. Hey, Bill. Are you all right? Yeah. Have a good night.
Another awesome option on the first is the film Patriots Day. This movie chronicles the story of the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing and its aftermath. Sergeant Tommy Saunders, played by Mark Wahlberg, is working security at the finish line when the bombs detonate, causing widespread chaos and devastation. In the face of tragedy, Saunders joins a determined team of law enforcement, including FBI agent Richard, played by Kevin Bacon, to track down the perpetrators. The film follows the intense manhunt that gripped the city, showcasing the resilience of the Boston community in the unwavering pursuit of justice. The story itself is very compelling, and knowing it is a true story only amplifies that, and most are probably somewhat familiar with it, but it is a powerful portrayal of these real-life events that turn into this gripping story and also honor the victims of the tragedy itself. The filmmakers work closely with law enforcement officials and survivors to ensure an accurate and respectful portrayal of the events. Mark Wahlberg delivers a powerful performance as the dedicated police sergeant, and the supporting cast that includes Michelle Monaghan, J.K. Simmons, John Goodman, and many other good actors adds to the overall depth of this story. And they do a really good job delivering the story through the suspenseful investigation that keeps you engaged, building tension during the manhunt for these bombers. And this film really focuses on the heroism and pays tribute to the first responders, plus the ordinary citizens who came together during the time of crisis. Patriots Day, as any based on a true story movie is, has some fictionalized moments, but it is a suspenseful and emotional film that sheds light on the Boston Marathon bombings and its aftermath, worth the 2-hour and 15-minute runtime.
Hey, you behaving yourself?
My ninth pick on today's list is a cult classic that has influenced so many future sci-fi films. This is the 1997 film Starship Troopers. Set in a hyper-militaristic future, the United Citizens Federation fights against a race of giant alien insects called the arachnids, or bugs. The film itself follows 3 individuals through their brutal training all the way to bloody battles on distant planets, showcasing the devastating realities of the wars. However, beneath the surface of the action-packed story lies a sharp satire that critiques fascism, propaganda, and just the glorification of violence in general. The film's dark humor is enjoyable, with all of these satirical takes on war movies and militaristic societies. And like Jumanji, for its time, the visual effects depicting the bugs and the creatures and the space battles were truly impressive. Despite its comedic and action elements, there are also some other sides to the film. You have romance, you have friendship, you have loyalty, along with some just truly great characters to follow along with. And I do want to say this about the action sequences. Some of them are pretty graphic, they're intense, even gory at times, offering some visceral experiences throughout. Starship Troopers has gained a cult classic status over the years. It's been appreciated for its dark humor, its action sequences, the use of practical effects for the alien creatures combined with CGI for large-scale battles that has influenced so many future sci-fi films. It's a phenomenal option for any sci-fi fan.
Oh, come on, it's just a bug.
We humans like to think we are nature's finest achievement. Afraid it just isn't true.
I just talked about the Equalizer 3 on Netflix, and if you enjoyed that, you'll be happy because on the first, you're actually getting the original Equalizer from 2014, where Robert McCall is this mysterious man with a shadowed past. Haunted by his former life, Robert now works at a mundane job and strives for a quiet existence, adhering to this strict routine. However, his world is upended when he befriends Terry, this young woman trapped in a brutal human trafficking ring run by the Russian mafia. Unable to stand by while innocents are exploited, Robert awakens his dormant skills and becomes a vigilante known as the Equalizer. He embarks on a relentless mission to take down the criminals and deliver his own brand of justice. I said it about number 3 when I reviewed it, and I'm gonna say the same thing here about number 1. Denzel Washington is an amazing actor. He delivers a powerful and charismatic performance as the skilled yet conflicted protagonist. Denzel did not just act in this one though, he was a producer filmmaker who pushed for a more grounded and character-driven portrayal of Robert McCall compared to the TV series that this is based on. This iteration of The Equalizer is very action-centric, plenty of amazing fights with expertly crafted choreography that is thrilling and showcases Robert's tactical abilities. The Equalizer is a stylish and action-packed revenge thriller anchored by Denzel Washington's commanding performance, a suspenseful plot, and this exploration of a morally conflicted vigilante. Well worth checking out.
About a guy who's a knight in shining armor, except he lives in a world where knights don't exist anymore.
Am I right?
My 11th pick on the list is the stylish gangster comedy directed by Guy Ritchie, the film The Gentleman. This is perfect timing, to be honest, with the release of the Gentleman series from last month. This is all set in that same world, but this film follows Mickey Pearson, played by Matthew McConaughey, a man who built a lucrative marijuana empire in London. Now he's looking for an exit strategy and seeks to sell his business. However, his plans are disrupted by a series of double crosses, blackmail attempts, and power struggles among rival gangs. Mickey and his team navigate this chaotic underworld filled with flamboyant gangsters, ruthless businessmen, and a curious private investigator. With twists and turns galore, The Gentleman is a darkly comedic exploration of the British criminal underworld. If you watched my recommendation of the series, you know that I love Guy Ritchie's style, and his signature directing style is all over this one, with fast-paced editing, witty dialogue, and non-linear storytelling, along with tons of compelling characters brought to life by an all-star cast. This film, again, it has Matthew McConaughey, but it has Charlie Hunnam, Hugh Grant, Colin Farrell, Jeremy Strong, Michelle Dockery, and Henry Golding, just to name a few. If that's not enough for you, it's also jam-packed with dark humor. It is sharp, it's often edgy humor, along with an unpredictable and intricate plot that keeps you guessing with its twists and reveals. So The Gentleman is perfect for those of you that love the series in April. It is a stylish and darkly comedic crime film, the charismatic cast, fast-paced story, and witty dialogue that entertains fans of the genre. Absolutely worth a watch.
I'm making inquiries. His name is Fahak, but spelled with a PH, so it sounds like Fahak. Please! Alright, Fahak, Kanda Fahak. Please.
My 12th and last pick on the 1st of May is the cliche-filled yet fun and silly action comedy, White House Down. I know not everybody will love this one, but I feel like it's a fun, lighthearted option that never takes itself too seriously. In the film, we meet a recently rejected Secret Service applicant who takes his daughter on a visit to the White House. However, their day takes a drastic turn when a heavily armed paramilitary group launches a surprise attack on the White House. Separated from his daughter, John finds himself thrust into a chaotic situation. He uses his courage and resourcefulness to protect his daughter and the president, James Sawyer, played by Jamie Foxx, from this ruthless attack. Again, this is not a super serious action film, so the action sequences are definitely ridiculous and sometimes way over the top, but that doesn't stop the film from delivering exciting and thrilling moments while the White House is totally under siege. I think that Channing Tatum does actually a really good job as this style of character. He's a silly action star, portraying the determined and resourceful John Cale. But what really makes it worth the watch is the chemistry between Tatum himself and Jamie Foxx, as this unlikely buddy cop duo fighting for survival. And the villains in this film are just as cliched as the heroes they oppose. Their motivations and actions feel very familiar. White House Down is another over-the-top action film that is, yes, cliched and even predictable at times, but if you can turn your brain off and enjoy the explosions, the fight scenes, and the hilarious chemistry between Fox and Tatum, you can definitely do way worse.
If you are just tuning in, we are going to breaking news out of Washington.
I also wanted to include a short shout out to those of you that have kids like me, with a few solid animated options coming May 1st, with Madagascar Escape to Africa. You have Shrek the original from 2001, and then Shrek Forever After. So let's move on to the third, where we get a comedy movie from the mind of Jerry Seinfeld that tells the story of the breakfast wars from the 1960s with Unfrosted. This is a comedic look back at the creation of Pop-Tarts. Set in 1963, the film explores the rivalry between Kellogg's and Post cereals as they race to develop the breakfast innovation that will change the game. Jerry Seinfeld steps behind the camera for this one. He co-wrote the screenplay with his longtime writing team and acts in this film. The film is not yet out, but based on the information I read and the trailer itself, it features a solid cast that includes a lot of top tier actors, but also tons of stand-up comedians. The cast includes Melissa McCarthy, Jim Gaffigan, Amy Schumer, Bill Burr, Patrick Warburton, and Hugh Grant, all portraying these eccentric executives and marketing gurus vying for breakfast table dominance. With Jerry Seinfeld's involvement and a cast known for comedic timing, I'm sure this film's gonna have tons of humor, ridiculous situations, and probably tons of witty dialogue that will provide a ton of laugh out loud moments. I expect the film to be peppered with pop culture references and jokes about this time in America, tapping into childhood memories around breakfast cereal mascots, maybe Saturday morning cartoons. With this being Jerry Seinfeld's first jump into feature film directing, I'm excited to see what Unfrosted has to offer. It looks to be a lighthearted, nostalgic, and hilarious look at the origins of Pop-Tarts, at least worth checking out.
2, 1, lift off.
I believe we have split the atom of breakfast.
Let's move on to another outstanding option that's coming to Netflix on the 5th. This is one of my personal favorites on this list, and this is The Peanut Butter Falcon. This is a heartwarming coming-of-age story wrapped in a comedic adventure where we meet Zach, who is a young man with Down syndrome who escapes a nursing home to pursue his dream of becoming a professional wrestler. He forms an unlikely friendship with Tyler, who is this troubled fisherman on the run from the law. Together they embark on a hilarious journey to North Carolina where Zach hopes to train under his wrestling idol. I've talked about this movie before, and I do have to say it again. This is a heartwarming one. It just makes you feel good. The central theme revolves around friendship and following your dreams, and these two main characters, they just create this incredible bond during the film. It's also really funny. The film masterfully blends the humor into those heartwarming moments, creating a well-rounded experience. And both Zach Gutsagan and Shia LaBeouf deliver exceptional performances, praised for their authenticity and emotional depth, with Gutsagan becoming the first actor with Down syndrome to be nominated for a Golden Globe Award. Overall though, The Peanut Butter Falcon has won numerous awards at several film festivals and gained critical acclaim thanks to its genuine performances, hilarious moments, and the film's overall messages that make it a worthwhile watch.
Zach, you have a young boy with Down syndrome in the middle of nowhere.
All right, well, while you've been doing paperwork, we've been doing something called living.
Oh, man!
Let's move forward to the 8th of May with the comedy crime film War Dogs. This film is based on a true story of David Packouz, played by Miles Teller, and Ephraim DeVeroli, played by Jonah Hill. Pardon my pronunciation if I said any of those names wrong. I know some of you love to point out when I mispronounce some names, but it's a story about these two men who exploited a loophole in the US military program to score lucrative arms deals. Starting small, they leverage connections to supply weapons to armies. Fueled by ambition and greed though, they navigate a world of shady arms dealers, international criminals, and government bureaucracy. However, their meteoric rise is threatened as their operation spirals out of control, attracting the attention of law enforcement. It certainly made this one extremely intriguing knowing that the story was based on real life. It certainly keeps you engaged, wondering what will happen to these two men. And I really enjoyed both the lead actors in this one for sure. Jonah Hill and Miles Teller were a big part of me jumping in and checking it out in the first place. They deliver strong performances. Overall, the film's concept is some fairly serious material, like war profiteering, but they do a great job blending in more humor than you would expect, either with witty dialogue or outrageous situations, and just some hilarious banter between the two actors, along with a fast-paced narrative to keep you on the edge of your seats as these two friends' scheme unfold. War Dogs is directed by Todd Phillips, known for his work on the Hangover trilogy, who brings plenty of his signature dark humor and fast-paced action to the well-acted film. Definitely worth checking out for yourself.
Now to a question that still has no clear answer. How did two 20-something young men land a $300 million Pentagon contract?
I have a big idea.
On May 15th, another one of my favorites is coming to Netflix, and this is one that I've talked about maybe once, maybe twice before, but this is the movie Upgrade. Set in a near future where advanced technology is part of every aspect of life, we meet Gray, who is a self-proclaimed technophobe. Tragedy strikes when he's left paralyzed after a violent mugging that leaves his wife dead. Desperate to regain his mobility, Gray agrees to a radical procedure, the implementation of a state-of-the-art neural chip called STEM. STEM grants him control over a powerful artificial intelligence that allows him to walk again. However, as Gray continues to use STEM, he uncovers a dark secret and a sinister agenda. I love the sci-fi elements of this film, but the high-octane action is one of the best parts. It delivers intense and well-choreographed action sequences, showcasing the capabilities of the AI implanted in Gray. Logan Marshall Green, who plays Gray's performance during these fight scenes, is amazing. It truly looks like he's not even controlling his own body when his face just does not match what's happening. It's incredible and sometimes even hilarious, and beyond the action, he delivers a compelling performance as the conflicted anti-hero. And this one does have a cool, unique AI human buddy cop feel to it, because STEM is actually in Gray's brain and he's the only one who can hear him. Upgrade is an excellent sci-fi film that makes the most of this low budget that it was given by taking advantage of well-done action sequences, excellent performances, and a blend of different sci-fi elements, making it an entertaining watch.
What if I told you I could offer you something that would enable you to walk again? I call it STEM, a computer chip that has the potential to change everything.
Continuing to move forward, let's talk about The 8 Show. This one is a brand new South Korean Netflix original that has not been released yet, but gives me some serious Squid Games vibes, so I definitely want to check this one out. This is a psychological thriller centered around 8 desperate individuals lured into a mysterious 8-story building. Each contestant is burdened by debt and enticed by a tempting offer. Win a staggering sum of money, 44.8 billion won, simply by lasting 100 days inside the building. However, there's a sinister catch. Everything they need, from food to water, comes at a hefty price, deducted from the grand prize. As tensions rise, alliances shift, and secrets unravel, the contestants are forced to confront their own desperation and true cost of achieving their financial dreams. Again, it appears to have a similar gripping premise to the epically popular Squid Games, with the high-stakes competition and the monetary pressure creating a tense and suspenseful atmosphere. And from the trailer, it looks like this show is going to take place exclusively in this 8-story building, which just adds to that tension and suspense with this claustrophobic feel. I read when putting this together that the series features a cast of up-and-coming Korean actors along with some established names, but to be honest, I'm not super familiar with any of them, but it definitely is a positive, and I'm sure Netflix will have a solid dubbing completed before the show is released. I love the last Korean show with this similar concept, so I'm definitely going to give The 8 Show a chance. It looks to be another suspenseful thriller with high-stakes scenarios and unpredictable twists. Definitely on my list to check out. Another brand new option coming on May 24th is the movie Atlas. And to be honest, I wasn't super thrilled with Jennifer Lopez's last Netflix release, The Mother. It was alright to be honest, but this one is a sci-fi action film, so I'm definitely going to give this one a chance. In this one, Atlas, played by Jennifer Lopez, is brilliant but harbors a deep distrust of artificial intelligence. When a rogue AI soldier escapes a military facility on a mission to end humanity, she must team up with her own AI, Smith, on a mission to capture this renegade robot before it unleashes its plan. As Smith and Atlas join together, they confront their challenges and forge an unlikely bond. The trailer for this one actually gives me vibes of another movie on this list, the film Upgrade, with computers and humans joining forces while providing some robo-human buddy cop humor. Thanks to some production companies with deep pockets, it does look like it boasts some impressive special effects with some sleek futuristic aesthetics. Not to mention some intense action sequences as J-Lo is piloting this massive mech suit. And on top of all that, the cast looks really strong as well. Obviously Jennifer Lopez as the lead, but you also have Simu Liu, Mark Strong, and Sterling Brown in this one. So as a sci-fi lover, I'm definitely going to give Atlas a chance, hoping the action, the special effects, and this solid cast don't go to waste.
No, I'm not.
No? What are you then?
I am a computer program named Smith.
No one likes a smartass Smith.
My last 2 picks on the list today are led by the amazing Benedict Cumberbatch. The first is the Showtime limited series Patrick Melrose, where Cumberbatch stars as Patrick, who is this wealthy British socialite grappling with a lifetime of trauma. This is a 5-part miniseries following Patrick through different stages of his life, exploring the lasting impact of his abusive childhood at the hands of his alcoholic father. From his self-destructive tendencies fueled by his addiction to his desperate attempts at recovery, Patrick embarks on a harrowing journey of self-discovery. Number 1, Benedict Cumberbatch in my mind is a top-tier actor. He delivers a phenomenal performance as this complex and tormented Patrick Melrose. His character transforms over the series from one complex version to another, showing off Cumberbatch's vast range as an actor. The series doesn't shy away from the dark subject matter either. It depicts the emotional and the psychological effects of what Patrick has gone through in his life. Like I mentioned, this is a mini-series, and I do love and hate mini-series. I enjoy the finality of them as things come to a close, but they always leave me wanting more. This miniseries has a compelling narrative that is laid out in this non-linear approach that keeps you engaged as Patrick's past and present intertwine, along with some stunning visuals, exceptional music selection, and the well-written script. If you don't believe me, know that Patrick Melrose won several awards, including a Golden Globe Award for Best Actor, so check it out for yourself. It is a rewarding watch if you can handle the darker subject matter.
Will someone be joining you?
Hell, I hope not.
And then Cumberbatch heads up the last one on this list, and this one was extremely difficult to find information about, but I did want to mention it because the premise looks very interesting, and well, Cumberbatch is leading it. I don't even have much to show you at the time of recording this, but what I could find says, when Edgar, a young boy, goes missing in the 1980s Manhattan, his grief-stricken father, Vincent, who is a puppeteer, finds solace through a friendship with Eric, the monster that lives under Edgar's bed. In his quest to find the truth to Edgar's disappearance, Vincent is forced into the dark shadows of the city rife with corruption to discover the real monsters live much closer to home. Detective LeDroit, tasked to uncover internal corruption in the NYPD, finds himself drawn into the search for Edgar while privately coming to terms with secrets of his own. Again, looks like another intriguing option coming on the 30th. That is honestly only the tip of the iceberg, everybody. There is a whole host of things coming to Netflix in May of 2024. Here are the lists to check out everything on each individual date that they're being released. And that's going to do it for our list today, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Check out our other recommendations right here. And I know that all other YouTubers say this, but take a second, like and subscribe to the channel. It does help us get our recommendations out to others looking for great TV shows and movies that they can access from the comfort of their own home. Thanks again. We'll see you in the next one.